whatever I do, I do. But yeah, I'm nowhere near Michael Jordan.
No more comparisons.
Yeah.
But if that era was today, do you feel like MJ could guard you?
Hell no. No.
Everyone knows Anthony Edwards can ball, especially Ant himself. 2023 was Edwards' year. The year we're gonna look back on a decade from now and say, that's when he became a superstar. Right now though, he's the hottest young player in the league, in the argument for the best two-way wing and taking the Minnesota Timberwolves, a poverty franchise for decades, to new heights. He's been taking down the toughest teams in the league all year. Their best win though just happened on February 12th. They demolished the Clippers by 21 points. The best team in the league, by the way, for the last 2 months. Edwards had 23 points, but he was in complete control of the offense the entire game while Rudy dominated the paint. Although, Paul George did make Edwards touch floor on one embarrassing play for the young superstar, but we're gonna ignore that for now. Now you've gotta wait to hear what Shaq said about Anthony Edwards last year. It was so disrespectful. But first, Reggie Miller, who subtly called out the casuals.
Those young cats ball out, and they play well at both ends. Their offense is great. It's surrounded around Anthony Edwards, who a lot of people don't know about. But I'm talking about he is the next coming.
Reggie was the best shooter in NBA history when he retired in 05, and since then, he's been spending every single season watching dudes hoop as a broadcaster and analyst. Most importantly, he played against Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and Dwayne Wade at the highest level in the NBA playoffs. That's the 3 greatest shooting guards ever that Reggie had to guard, so he knows a thing or two. Now Reggie's been known to overhype sometimes, but the second coming? Strong words. Most people were stuck on what he said right before that. A lot of people don't know about Anthony Edwards. This is a former #1 overall pick, the most fun kid in the league, and a guy who earned MVP votes in a straw poll a few weeks ago. But a lot of people don't know about him. Was that a diss from Reggie? No. If anything, it was a diss on the casual fans who refused to watch anything outside of the major markets. I mean, even last year, people were actually upset that Jokic and the Nuggets made the finals. Like, he hadn't been the best player in the league for 3 years. It takes casual fans a couple years to catch up. So a couple years from now, everyone is gonna know that Ant is a top player in the league. But how high? Can he be a top 5 player, top 10 player? Let us know in the comments. But you know who's already really high on the young T-Wolf? Just maybe the best coach in the league right now.
Is there a particular player on this Team USA team that reminds you of D-Wade?
Yeah, we know who that is. It's hard not to look at Anthony Edwards and not see Dwayne Wade in him. And I'm not a guy for comparisons, I'm not. But the way he moves, the way he competes, the way he electrifies a crowd, yes, that reminds me of #3, and I have told Anthony that, and I feel like I'm going back in time, you know, and it's making me younger again. I'm really enjoying it.
Eric Spoelstra said that in a chat with CNN Philippines while he was coaching Team USA as an assistant. Remember, this guy coached Wade to 3 NBA finals. He saw him have one of the most staggering seasons of all time in 2009. He was the only player to ever put up 30 points, 7 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block per game in a season. Spo coached Ant for 1 summer and saw that same player in him. Wade's teammate for a couple of years there, Antoine Walker, he chimed in.
I could see some of the similarities. I think Anthony Edwards was a better jump shooter than D-Wade from range. Because obviously D-Wade was not really necessarily a great 3-point shooter. That's not something D-Wade did. He was more of a slasher, a guy that went to the basket. One thing I do like about him, and one thing about D-Wade is D-Wade is super competitive. And I think that's one thing that stands out to me about Anthony Edwards. He's super competitive.
So D-Wade with 3-point range. Got it. Remember when people said he wasn't as good as LaMelo Ball? It's still not as embarrassing as what Shaq said a while back, but we'll get there. Because right now, we're gonna talk about the previous Timberwolves GOAT, who gushes over Ant-Man's talent.
I'm watching Anthony Edwards. He looks different. You know how summertime, don't see nobody for like 2 months, and then all of a sudden you see somebody, and then he good, or you can tell that motherfucker been working with the, you know what I'm saying? That's how Anthony Edwards looks to me. Ant-Man
Right
looks,
now?
yeah, he looks super motivated, bro.
Here's a mind-blowing stat for you. The Timberwolves have made the playoffs 11 times. If you take away the seasons when either Anthony Edwards or KG was on the team, they made the playoffs just once. Just the 2018 season when Jimmy Butler came to town for a minute before dipping instantly because he was sick of guys who didn't play hard. That is definitely not the case with either KG or Ant. Kevin Garnett is remembered as a competitive psycho, a guy that his teammates actively had to cool down before games. Ant has that same gene with a little less of the crazy, and Garnett sees that. He was first high on Edwards early this year, when the Timberwolves gave both the Nuggets and the Celtics their first losses of the season, positioning themselves early as a legit title threat.
Nuggets first loss of the season, Timberwolves. Celtics first loss of the season, Timberwolves. We talked about Ant-Man the last time I was here, taking over, going Super Saiyan and taking that next step. But we're seeing guys, you know, this team's really clicking. And we said that we didn't know if they had a team build that was correct. We said we might want to move one of the big men because it's not going to all flow. It's flowing. It's flowing early. You got to be impressed so far.
It's flowing because Ant-Man's pushing the buttons and he's driving it. I think everybody's kind of following his lead, following his energy. You know, when they played Boston, it felt like he was trying to make a mark. He was just overly aggressive.
Yeah.
He was the alpha. He came off like the alpha.
This is why we love basketball, right? One guy can really drive a team forward in a way different from every other sport. Obviously, no man is an island, but if you have a top tier guy, you have a chance. Is Anthony Edwards one of those guys? Guys like Kobe, Shaq, Robert Horry? Now, Big Shot Bob definitely wasn't a superstar, but he won 7 titles and hit a couple of the biggest shots in NBA playoff history. Did you know that Horry is 4th in playoff games, 16th in blocks, 13th in steals, 27th in boards, and 15th in threes? So we can kind of call him a legend, right? Anyway, you will not believe who he compared Ant and Cat to.
Oh, here we go.
Futuristic.
Oh, there we go.
Because this team could be a great team in the future, but they need some pieces to go with them. If you look at this duo, it's like a miniature, notice keyword miniature,
Right.
Shaq and Kobe. But when you play with guards that are good and are big, that can cause double team, you make each other better. So Edwards learns how to play this game and become a better ball handler, an outside shooter. And Cat can understand he's bigger than most guys, take him time to the post, and when that's not working, step on the outside and shoot the threes. This team could be one of those futuristic teams that we always talk about, that we want this day and age, a stretch 4, a stretch 5, a stretch everything.
Yeah, that's why I like Cap, because he can go on the block, he can do a ton of things, but ultimately, certain times you see what's going on.
Yeah.
Cat cannot be your best player. If you want to win a championship, Anthony Davis can't be your best player. And that is not a knock on these high-quality players. I just think that if Anthony Edwards can get to the point where he's the best player on the team, and just because of his talent and his ability, now you're really on to something.
That's high praise from a guy who literally played with Shaq and Kobe. Now, this was over 2 years ago, and Horry absolutely called it. Cat just can't be the best player on a really, really good team, and Richard Jefferson agreed. That's not a knock. It's not like Richard or Horry ever were. But with Anthony Edwards letting Cat be a complimentary star, the sky is absolutely the limit. So what did Shaq himself say about Ant? One of Shaq's most embarrassing takes.
I think you have to be great for a consistent period of time. Many times have we seen people that were great in a week, great in a month, great 1 year, and then they disappear. He will be great.
You like
for
sustained excellence.
Sustained excellence. For second, third year player, he's a fabulous player. I really love his game, respect his game. I respect his mentality. I think he said last week, you know, forget sitting out and, you know, doing it again. We get paid to play, let's play. I like his game, but it's not my place to say he's great now or, you know, he's not great now, but I think he's a fabulous player. But where I come from and, you know, watching people like Candace and Jamal, you have to be great for a long period of time because we all remember Jeremy Lin. What happened to him? Just saying. Oh, he's a great player.
Like, the strain. What the strain is going on?
Sorry, Jeremy.
Lin's at home chilling. Let's
Y'all put that man on Sports Illustrated.
I'm just simply saying, but
did.
I mean, Jeremy Lin was an incredible run. I was working in Kentucky. I didn't put him anywhere.
But in order to be great, you have to be great for a consistent period of time. Not 1 week, not 1 month, not 1 year. You got to continue to be great.
And to Shaq's point,
being great is something, longevity, consistency is one of the keys to longevity. Right, like being great. You can be hot. He's hot at the moment.
To be fair, this was 11 months ago. But did Shaq just compare Ant to Jeremy Lin? No offense to our New York City viewers out there, but Linsanity is iconic for a reason. It didn't last that long. Lin was on an absolute heater for a couple of weeks, but that was it. Ant has been doing this for years now. And this season, he is proving everyone right. He has lived up to his potential, and it's time to win a title. Do you think it's fair that Shaq compared Anthony Edwards to Lin? Definitely not. Shaq was way off on that one. Sorry, big fella. Even so, he has been incredibly high on Anthony Edwards, just like everybody else. Stephen A. compared him to Jordan. Bill Simmons said he's destined to be a top 5 guy. Everyone who watches his game is obsessed. He's competitive, he's skilled, he tries hard, he loves ball. Everything you want in a young superstar. But what do you think? Is he a top 10 guy right now? Is there a better shooting guard in the league? Let us know in the comments, then check out the last time Shaq was embarrassingly wrong, this time about Wemby. Listen to The Wrong Opinion, useless NBA trivia, and garbage rankings for more NBA content.